From 14 News, this is Touchdown Live in the Huddle, your live streaming pregame football show. Sponsored by Chick-fil-A West Evansville. Delivery from us to you. Order ahead through the Chick-fil-A app.
Welcome in, everybody, to week 2 of Touchdown Live in the Huddle. Thanks so much for joining us. We're live here at our 14 studio. So glad to be with you. If you're new to this show, each week we're going in the huddles, as the name would suggest, of your favorite teams across the tri-state to give you an inside look before Friday's big games.
Plus, we're taking a deeper dive into the people who make up the teams with live interviews and feature stories to shine a spotlight on the minds behind the magic we see on the field every single week.
Well, let's jump right in. But before we get into all of that other stuff, let's talk about this heat and how teams have been dealing with it throughout the week. For more on that, we welcome in Wright's athletic trainer, Garrett Duggar. Garrett, how are you? Staying cool out there?
Oh, yeah, doing well. It's been a busy week.
Yeah, I'm sure. How have teams been dealing with all this heat?
Yeah, so each team has kind of held practice at different times. Some have gone early, some have gone late. All the athletic trainers have been communicating pretty frequently about heat at their school, what modifications we're making, so we're all staying on the same page. So at Wright's, we've gone pretty early, about 5 o'clock in the morning, 2 days this week, so we could beat the heat.
And what are the biggest concerns? Because we've seen all week long different teams are having games canceled, and for football on Friday, games are getting pushed back. What have been the biggest concerns for this game?
Obviously, the biggest concern is athlete health and safety. So, we don't want them to get overheated, have a heat injury, which could put their life at danger. So that's where we monitor heat index, wet bulb, globe temperature, to make sure that it's safe for these athletes to participate and make sure that we don't have an emergency on our hands.
Yeah, what sort of precautions are you guys planning for game day?
Yeah, so for game day, we'll pretty much constantly monitor the temperature, push back those starts if we need to, hopefully not, but we have contingency plans upon contingency plans to make sure athletes and also spectators are safe. So pushing back start times, we will also have the ability to cool athletes before we transport them if we need to. I have a cold tub that will be set up that if we were to have an athlete that has an injury, we can get them in, cool their core body temperature down, and then transport them to where they need to go so they can get the right care.
Yeah, talking directly to players, did you guys take any extra steps this week to just kind of educate players on the importance of staying hydrated and healthy during this extreme heat?
Oh, absolutely. That conversation starts before the season even begins. So talking about proper hydration, proper nutrition, not just water, but also electrolytes, because when they're sweating, they're losing a lot, sodium, potassium, magnesium. So we really harp on them about staying on top of that, because if you're waiting until today to get that process started, you're probably behind the 8 ball. So all week, before and after every practice, we talk about that. We've had parent groups that have helped donate extra things like electrolyte packets to help make sure their athletes are safe. So we've talked about that pretty frequently.
And I know we've been talking about athletes mostly, but frankly, walking to the car this morning felt like a workout for me with this heat out there. Any recommendations for those fans out there heading out there to spend an hour or so, or many hours watching the game?
Yeah, make sure you're hydrating before you leave. A cold towel can help with you, an umbrella if you need it. Hopefully once the sun gets down, that temperature goes down. But also if you feel yourself overheating, don't be scared to go cool off in your car with some air conditioning, but monitor yourself and be safe.
Well, thank you, Garrett, for joining us, and stay cool out there.
No problem. Appreciate it. Thank you.
For more on just how hot it's going to be out there on game day, let's send it over to the best, Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lyons. Jeff, how?
All right, Max, it looks like a hot day tomorrow. Of course, we might set a record or get really close up to 101, but our bigger concern, of course, is the heat index, especially at game time, which has been pushed back, as we know. For Friday, it looks like that heat index will get into the danger zone here around noon, and it's going to stay there up through about 5, 6 o'clock. Then it'll drop off pretty dramatically for a couple of reasons. One is that we have clouds moving in, and 2, we might get some thunderstorms as well. Now the heat index on an hourly basis here, you see it dropping back below that danger zone between 6 and 8. So those pushback start times should work out. The only fly in the ointment here, and you know there's always one of those, is we may see thunderstorms, which is a good thing. We need the rain. but not at a football game. The latest model here showing the possibility for some thunderstorms to pop up around 8 o'clock and actually move in more in our eastern counties. I think southern Illinois will be fine, but southwest Indiana, western Kentucky may see a couple of pop-up thunderstorms, and of course that could mean lightning delays. So just a possibility there. We're going to keep that kind of in the back of our minds here, and then we get more rain possible on Saturday as temperatures finally go back down to where they should be. Next week when we have football games, the weather will be perfect. High temps are supposed to stay below 80 degrees for much of next week, and lows will drop all the way into the middle 50s. Not saying you'll get to wear a sweater to the game, but it'll be a lot cooler than what we're looking at for Friday night.
All right, thanks, Jeff. We have a lot more coming up on In the Huddle. Next, it's time for our Tri-State Insider segment. Mitch will have some of the biggest plays of the week and break them all down for us.
Also coming up, we will reveal our Touchdown Live Game of the Week, and you'll get to hear from the coaches of both teams. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to In the Huddle. You just saw the intro. You know what time it is. I'm joined by our Tri-State football insider, Mr. Mitch Carter. Mitch, you took a rare L last week on that pick. What happened, man?
Yeah, Max, the football gods decided to smite me for my lackluster judgment. Starting off the year 0-1 does sting a little bit, but I'm looking to get my get back.
Oh, well, you know, we all believe in you, Mitch. We all believe in you. That's what we like to hear. You're turning it around. If you're new here, this is where we break down our Touchdown Live Game of the Week. Mitch was a state champ with Southridge and then played for Ball State, so it's fair to say he knows a thing or two about ball. We'll talk about the biggest plays, who to watch out for, and of course, we'll finish up with Mitch and his Carter's Call, where he picks who's coming out on top.
That's right. I'm especially looking forward, like I mentioned, to my redemption arc this week, looking to go 1-1.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it too. Now, for the moment of truth, week 2, where are we going? Who's it going to be?
Well, North High School played so nice last week. We're covering them twice. Headed out to Memorial this Friday.
There we go. We've got the Memorial Tigers hosting the Huskies. Coach John Hurley is coming off a fresh W against the Jasper Wildcats, kicking off his 16th season with a bang. Coach Hurley's found his playmakers early in guys like QB Matthew Fisher, wide receiver Simon Schultz, and returning senior running back Porter Road. They proved it last week. You cannot count out the Huskies, though. Coach Joey Paradin looking to lead his squad to a 2-0 start on the year after knocking off the Castle Knights 21-14. We saw knockout performances from guys like Kanan Northington on the ground and Sam McKinney through the air. Mitch, we've been here once before. 2 quality programs going head-to-head. What can we expect, my man?
Someone's got to win. Someone's got to lose.
Correct.
Right? Both teams looking to be 2-0 to start the season, but there can only be one. Let's start off with the Huskies. Go ahead and roll that tape. They walked right into paradise last week and said, I don't care that you went to semi-state last year. Our time now. First quarter, North takes possession, down in the red zone. Jason Rucker takes the dish, sneaks his way through, wait for it, bang!
Hello.
Takes a hit right there, takes a lick. It doesn't matter though, pops right up. He's in for the 12-yard TD, putting North up by 6. Well, later on, they aren't done quite yet. Low snap, McKinney drops back before delivering to James Mercer over the middle, off to the races. Number 11 takes it 60 yards all the way home for the crib call. Huskies got up early and hung on to pull out that W. 21-14. Of course, looking forward to seeing that electrifying offense back in the limelight, back in center stage tomorrow night.
Yeah, Sam McKinney looked great. And how about that performance by Kanan Northington? He was one of our nominees for our Touchdown Live Player of the Week. We'll reveal that later on in the show. We know Coach Paradin's pulling out the stops tomorrow, but what can we expect to see from Memorial?
Well, also coming off a big win in the SIAC, I tell you what, there are no easy roads here. You've got to earn the wins, and they did just that last week when Jasper came to town. Let's check it out. The Tigers got up big in the first half, leading 23-6. Check this out. Matthew Fisher dropping back, rolls out, lofts a dime to Simon Schultz. What a snag. Puts him into field goal range, which would end up being blocked, but I digress. And then on the ground, here's a pitch to senior ball carrier Porter Road. Check this out. Bunnies for the Honeys, baby. Get up, young man.
Boing.
That's an absolute bowling ball right there, going north and south, getting vertical. Turn up with the boys, young man. You earned it. They went on to put the hurt on the Wildcats, running tough. 30-13.
All right, Mitch, we've seen the tape. We've talked X's and O's. It's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. Carter's call. Who's it going to be, my man?
Well, what's interesting about this particular matchup to me is the X factor that's at play here, the weather. It is so hot, and if guys aren't hydrating properly, and even if they are, cramping is definitely going to be a possibility. We could see it being an issue, potentially seeing some real playmakers having to take time off on the sideline, get their mustard, pickle juice, all those staples there.
Is that what they're having on the sideline,
I mean,
mustard?
that's back in my day. I've been a couple years removed now, but I definitely swallowed some mustard back then.
Maybe that's what I was missing.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Right.
So, Huskies or Tigers? Felines or Canines? I'll admit when I'm wrong. I was sleeping on the Huskies, slumbering week 1. Make me look dumb? I deserve it. But will lightning strike twice? I think not, baby. Give me those Tigers. Give me those Tigers.
All right, Tigers for Mitch Carter. Coming up on In the Huddle. Don't go anywhere because we went out to early morning practices this week to hear from both our Game of the Week coaches.
Plus, we had some highlight reel plays from week 1. I'll have a breakdown of a few at the telestrator. You won't want to miss it.
Welcome back in, everybody. Well, we have our Game of the Week announced. Let's hear from both coaches. We went out to practices this week to check in before Memorial hosts North. First up, under the lights, before the sun even came up, we checked in on the Tigers. Coach Hurley's squad has really embraced the early morning practices this week. Coach said not a single player has missed practice. That's an impressive buy-in for the big change in practice times. Last week, Memorial took down Jasper, and they will need to build on what they did well to beat the Wildcats when they take on North.
The things that we needed to do, we did. We protected the football. We were able to stop the run. Those things are going to be amplified this week against North. North is a big, strong football team. They forced Castle into 4 turnovers last week. I mean, that's something we're going to have to do a good job of from the standpoint of protecting the football and stopping their run.
Coach Hurley is exactly right. Stopping the run will certainly be a key for Memorial. Last week, North really punished Castle with that run game. Quarterback Sam McKinney also stepped up big for the Huskies and delivered a clean game. But there are still some aspects that North head coach Joey Paradin says his Huskies need to clean up.
We definitely have some cleaning up to do as far as penalties and turnovers. We got to make sure we limit those things because against good teams you can't put yourself in negative positions. So I think hopefully we're going to do a better job of that this week and just continuing to develop as a team and grow as far as guys getting experience and depth and all that good stuff.
After last week's late 21-14 win by North over Castle and Memorial's victory over Jasper, this is sure to be an exciting game of the week and a battle to stay undefeated for these two teams. Well, we've heard from our coaches, but what we have not done yet is take a deep dive into some of the best highlights from last week. Mitch, fire up that telestrator.
Well, Max, I've been waiting all week to play with our new toy again. Here she is, and here I am, breaking down some of the hottest plays of week 1. This week, starting out in the jungle, where Heritage Hills took on Southridge. Now, I said it week 1, I'm an equal opportunity highlighter, and though this does tug at my heartstrings a bit as a Raider alum, game recognized game. Before we get started here, I want you to check out these 3 right here, the tight end, the tackle, and the guard. What you're about to witness is a beautiful play known as power. I'm going to clear this up. Go ahead and roll that back there. And real quick, stop, right there. You can see right here, right now, the outside guy kicked out, inside here, all sealed off up to the second level, and Braden Durham is loose. Go ahead and roll that clip right here. You'll see what happens. 81 yards all the way home for a touchdown on the ground. Congrats, of course, to the Patriots on the week 1 win. And up next, we're heading west to Posey County, where North Posey was taking on the Mount Vernon Wildcats. We're jumping in with about 4:40 left in the first half. Go ahead and roll that tape. Quarterback Liam Stone takes the snap, drops back, and stop right there. Now, you can't quite see, it's a little bit blurry right now, but right here, threading the needle, young man, straight into double coverage for Julius Reed in the end zone for a touchdown. Go ahead and roll it right there. Good little effort there, but still gets that snag. Wildcats ended up being ousted by the Vikings 49-21, including that there touchdown. And finally, last but certainly not least, we're heading south to Owensboro Catholic, where the Aces took on the Eagles. Now, we saw a flurry of activity from Catholic on Friday. Go ahead and roll that clip. Elijah Blair takes the handoff. Let's stop right here. Now, I know we're talking football, but I'm giving the crowd a science lesson today. Sir Isaac Newton's first law of motion is that an object in motion remains in motion at a constant velocity unless acted on by a net external force. His second law states force equals mass times acceleration. Now, I'm no scientist, but Elijah Blair here is an object in motion with a lot of force behind it, leading to interactions like we're about to see right here, right now. Go ahead and roll that clip. Boom, there it is. And everybody eats those in their career, but all credit to 15 there for stopping the touchdown. But Catholic rolls on to get that, not only that touchdown, but the dub, 42-6.
Thanks, Mitch. Next on In the Huddle, we will announce our Week 1 Player of the Week as voted by you, the fans.
And we'll break down the schedules for the other games in our area as we get ready for Week 2 on the gridiron.
Welcome back in, everybody. It's that time to reveal our first Player of the Week for this season.
Well, that's right. You all showed out to vote for the nominees this week. Congrats to all our candidates for Week 1, by the way. Brady Atwell, Trajan Davis, Hayden Summers, and Kanan Northington.
Each week, we can only have one Player of the Week. Are you ready, Mitch?
I think I'm ready.
I'm so ready. Well, after just under 17,000 votes this week, our Player of the Week for Week 1 of the 2023 season, as voted by you, the fans, is, drumroll please, Kanan Northington.
Congrats, kid. Kanan racked up the yards on the ground last week with 162 rushing behind that stout North offensive line. The Huskies came back late to beat Castle 21-14. Now, Kanan, this week we will come talk to you and have you on next week's In the Huddle.
That's right, Mitch. But this year, we're giving each Player of the Week something they can take home and show off. We'll be introducing our newest addition to In the Huddle, the 14 Sports Player of the Week Pigskin. Check this thing out.
That thing
all right,
there.
Take a
so
look.
Every single week will be representing our Player of the Week with their own ball, and we may even have something in the works for potential Player of the Year candidate, so stick with us.
All right, and now it's time to take a look at some more games across the tri-state. Everyone's excited for our Week 2 slate. Let's take a look at what we have on deck. Starting right here in town, it's the Jasper Wildcats visiting the Harrison Warriors. Both teams trying to get into that win column. Kickoff at 7:30. Also, Vincennes Lincoln heads to the Wrights Bowl to face off against the Panthers. Can the Alices slow down a cruising Wrights offense? We shall see. That game kicks off at 7:30 as well. More games in the heart of town. Mater Dei comes off of a Week 1 win. They'll head to Paradise to play the Castle Knights. That one starts at 8 o'clock. Coach Artis and his Central Bears will host the Bossy Bulldogs again. Both those teams looking for their first win of the season. Also, an 8 p.m. kick time. Mitch, we have plenty of games outside of town as well. Tell us what we got.
Well, that's right. I'm taking a look at the talent all over the tri-state. Starting out, we've got the Marksmen of Tell City, fresh off a win against Perry Central, marching into the jungle, looking to knock off the Patriots, who started out, like I said, it hurt me, with a handy win over Southridge, and the North Posey Vikings heading into Gibson County, looking to knock off Princeton and extend their streak to 2-0. Now let's head across the Ohio down to the Commonwealth. You've got two winless squads in Bowling Green and Owensboro, each looking to pick up a W in Red Devils country. And you've got Week 1 juggernaut Owensboro Catholic heading to Davis County, looking to keep that win streak alive. Meanwhile, the Panthers are looking to grab a win of their own.
All right, well, one more look at some other games here as we can check out our full big slate of other games. Perry Central visits Forest Park. Mount Vernon heads to South Spencer, and Tecumseh visits Pike Central.
South Warren's hosting Henderson County. Apollo welcomes McCracken County. And finally, Gibson Southern travels to Mount Carmel.
All right, well, that is a full look at our slate in Week 2, and man, that ball. If I were you guys, I would want to show out and win
spiffy.
that.
Feels
Oh
pretty
yeah,
good.
oh yeah. Thank you all so much for watching this week of Touchdown Live in the Huddle pregame show. We hope you enjoyed our in-depth look at some of the best football teams across the tri-state.
We'll be back each Thursday night at 7 o'clock to preview teams in creative ways. Of course, this would not have been possible without our entire production crew and marketing team. Thank you for all the work you've put in to make this happen.
For highlights of all your favorite games, be sure to join us back here for our Touchdown Live show every Friday night on our 14 Sports app a little bit later this week because of those delayed start times. And of course, we will feature our express version on 14 News at 10. We'll see you there.